What's up, guys? It's John at National Sports Entertainment, and I wanted to do. I don't think this is going to be much of a surprise, but I also think people will be fascinated by it. And this honestly goes as our channel grows. Obviously, we are getting a lot of people that just are fans of the sport, and they might not believe it's rigged. So I have 5 genuine reasons that I believe that the Miami Heat are going to win this series. And they do really fit in both ways, whether you talk about, if it's real or fake. I believe it's fake, so, it's going to be more around that. My point is, even if you believe it's real, some of these reasons are going to apply. So anyway, not much is a surprise. We have Game 1 on 6-1, right? 1-6-1. Now, Gematria is not in any of these 5 reasons, but those things I do find interesting. What we have is the Miami Heat now. They're going back after, a couple heartbreaks. And right off the bat, that's reason number 1. This was brought up by Nick Wright on First Things First. He's really one of the few guys I like to watch and listen to because more and more, he really talks about it from the storyline perspectives and the draws, and he uses Vegas a lot and things of that nature. He doesn't go about it like a lot of your analysts. So I really appreciate, even if he's doing it on accident, which I think he is, I don't think he's trying to give anything away. He kind of tells people, he plants the seeds, I would say, the best. He's been the one planting these Spoelstra, Butler seeds. He's been one of the main guys. That's why I liked them once Philly was out over Boston, and many didn't. But anyway, that's my first reason. To me, it's the story. The heartbreak, they're not going to do that again to Jimmy. They're not going to do that again to Spo, to, Pat Riley, all these guys, Haslam. To me, it makes absolutely no sense. And that ties, it's as simple as that. It's the Kawhi shot. It's losing to the Lakers, and I believe that was Jimmy paying his dues. And that ties right into the second reason as far as paying his dues being there. It's the experience factor. And it's not, again, I don't believe it's real, so I don't think experience matters that much. But they tend to give the players who've had the experience, who've been there, been close, as they say, knocking on the door, however you want to phrase it, they tend to give those teams the nod over the teams that have already outperformed expectations, and they're a very young team. I've been saying it all year. This Denver Nuggets team reminds me of the Boston Celtics of last year. Just kind of ran away with the record in the West. They ran through people in the playoffs. They look, like flawless as far as how they play. And I think all those reasons is why they're going to inevitably lose this series. Now, my third reason, it's a pretty simple one, and it's just the narratives. Everything is being spun to it's like the Michael Jordan treatment, right? It's been said so much you can't even say he's not the GOAT. They're saying this so much, how the Heat are such underdogs. They're not bringing up Dirk of 2011. Again, probably not to diminish this story, but for other reasons too. They're not really bringing up much at all, except, the Heat, they got past the injured Giannis. Still respect them. We can't really judge the Tatum game, but we still respect them. They don't have a lot of gas left. All these things, and Denver, they've been able to rest. They've argued the rest versus rust debate, but all of these people, really outside of Nick Wright, have come to the conclusion that it's going to be, the Heat running out of gas. And again, I think that's a narrative that you could say, if that's the case, then they might say that the Nuggets, again, they have to deal with rust. It's not really that feasible in this situation, only because the Heat have just played, killer game after killer game. They haven't had a second of rest. It's not as if the Heat are getting I guess they had those 2 days, but I don't think it's comparable just because of how hard the Heat have had to play. If they had beaten the Celtics in, say, 6, and then had a couple, you can make that argument. But again, the rest versus rust, again, all this is doing is getting people more on Denver. There's no way the Heat win. And my next two reasons, and one I listened to something I want you guys to hear because I think it's very interesting regarding where it was a comment made, and I just think it's incredibly interesting. So my fourth reason is it kind of my first reason, but it's Spoelstra. All year long, they've talked about how coaching is key, and the better coached team is going to be the one to win. And while Malone's not being pitched as a scrub, they are saying, he lets the media get the best of him. Sometimes he can get a little hot-headed. He's not as calm as Spoelstra. He doesn't have the confidence in his players Spoelstra does. All these different things. Spoelstra, someone actually brought up in my Discord how Spoelstra said he is Pat's caretaker, which is an interesting choice of words. You could say, well, he just means he's taking over the team, but basically Pat's the guy. But maybe it's, like I said before, maybe something might happen to Pat soon and this is his send-off. But yeah, they're focusing on coaching so hard and how a good team that works together will beat they're not really a super team, but just, talented players any day of the week. And that's why, again, I think it just all ties back to the Heat. The fifth reason is, to me, the most damning. And it's because I noticed about, just go back 3 to 5 years. And when they're talking about these games, they're talking about Denver's going to win because of this, okay? They might show the odds up. Denver's an 8-point favorite. Yeah, I think that it's going to be closer than 8. I think it's going to be about 5. They'll give the reasons why. That's weird. They have Miami as a favorite. You wouldn't think so. Yeah, I don't know, but you have to account for this, that, and the other thing. So I was listening to a show, and now, just because obviously I don't want to take any chances, I'm just going to do my best impression of Shannon Sharpe. But it is something he said, and you guys can let me know if you think it's just worded in a very peculiar way.
100 plus 333. And so, seems to be the Nuggets are 4-1 plus 200. So basically, all the money, if you want to win some money, is on the Nuggets. But the Heat looks good.
So all of the money, if you want to win some money, is on the Nuggets. Now, I just find that wording to be very, very suspect, because the money being on the Nuggets should have absolutely no relevancy over if you're going to win money, right? That makes no sense at all. It's like saying people are buying Amazon right now, so if you want to win some money, it's almost like telling them, sell your Amazon, it's going to be a dump. I just don't understand. This is how I do my videos. I literally fade the public. So the context there, in my best impersonation, of course, from what I took is, if you want to fade the public, or if you want to win some money, go ahead, take the Heat. I don't know why else that would be phrased that way. It wasn't the money, all this money, if you want value. I could see that. Even that would be suspicious. They're talking about gambling right on the show, but that's fine. But yeah, that's my fifth reason, is I think they just gave it away. Just like Spoelstra said, it was they couldn't have scripted it any better. Just like Butler said at the we'll be back here and we're going to win next year. All these different things. I think it's very weird when somebody says, again, someone that's not like me, where we know, or at least in my heart, I believe it's scripted, and that's why I fade the public and things of that nature. But for someone to say, all of the money, skip if you want to win some money, is on the Nuggets, to me that's just directly implying the Heat is going to win you some money, because all the money on the Nuggets, Vegas is not going to pay that out. So I find it very interesting. The reason I did this is because I wanted to, I don't think anyone had any doubt that I had the Heat, but I also have the Nuggets winning Game 1. That hasn't changed. I think they win in cover, and again, it's going to continue to plant those seeds that now they're down 0-1 against the Nuggets. They have no gas left in the tank. They're going to have to win Game 2 and then win both home games to even have a chance. That narrative is going to get pushed. So that's why I strongly believe, that the Nuggets probably, I have them winning and covering in Game 1. That being said, The odds for the Heat on the series are still really good. You're looking at like 300 to 350. They're talking about 400 on some books. I don't think it's that high. I think it's right around that 300. I think mine was 330 at some point, but it'll move a little bit. But my point is, I just love the series. I love the series. I think they don't care. I think there's been so much money dumped into the Nuggets that it doesn't matter if people see, oh, this is good value, I'm going to drop it on the Heat, and some people start putting money on the Heat going forward. It won't be enough. And I think they set it up that way on purpose. Those 10 days of the Heat playing, and people probably putting a lot of money on Boston, good bit of money on Denver, and now the Heat, if you're counting from preseason all the way till now, probably have way less money on them than a lot of these other teams did. So that's one of the reasons the value never really scared me too much, because when they were 12-1, I was like, is Vegas going to pay that out? Then I'm thinking, well, really, realistically, how many people are hammering that? Probably only the people that think it's fake, or Heat fans, because people that genuinely think it's real did not have the Heat beating the Celtics and then but then beating the Nuggets. So I find it interesting. Again, I just wanted to go into really and this one is my main reason. It's not in the top. It's not even in my 5 because it's just a reason I always have. It's like a standing reason. The color theory, red and white. Red and white teams have won all year long. They've won. You had the Chiefs, you had the Bulldogs, and you've had UConn, who's red, white, and blue, but still. And someone tried to tell me, like, oh, well, the Nuggets are as well. If you look at their jerseys, yeah, you could make that argument. But I do try and be fair. And they typically will wear, like, the powder blue with the gold. And I also look at their specific team colors. You click on, you Google Nuggets team colors, it's like blue, white, gold. So I do like to be fair in that regard. I could like be like, oh, yeah, the Nuggets fit my color theory. I'm right. But no, I think the Heat fit it much closer. I could be wrong. Someone pointed out Nuggets are closer to UConn and Heat are kind of closer to the Aztecs. So it does get a little murky with the colors. But I have noticed it just seems like a lot of the red and white teams are winning. So I found that very interesting. So yeah, I don't think it would hurt at all to put something on the Batman here. As someone in my chat pointed out, we do have Batman versus the Joker. I did not know Butler's nickname was Batman until that was brought to my attention. So I find that very interesting. Batman versus the Joker. Batman typically wins that fight. So another very interesting thing that, a lot of interesting things around this series. So yeah, I like the Heat. I like them in 7 only because I don't think they're winning like with Denver. I don't know if they're going to win 2 games in Denver, which they essentially have to do. With a game 7, they could win their home games, and that would be enough. I don't know for sure that would be the case. Like I said, I just think at the least they're going to make Denver at the beginning look good at home. So I think there's a better chance of like Denver going up is all I'm saying. Like in the series, which would then make it harder for the Heat to win a bunch in Denver. So I think, it's not going to be a 5-game series. I know a lot of people are saying Denver in 5, Denver in 4, things of that nature. I think we're looking at a 7-game series where the Heat take maybe one early one in Denver, and then at the end of the series, maybe Jimmy comes through and in game 7 just goes insane. But I do like, exact orders. Like I said, tonight I have Denver winning and covering, but in all, I just think that the Heat are going to win the entire thing. So take care, everybody, and happy earnings.